When you said that to Durk, what was his response to you?
He said, you know what? He said, somebody just came in my house. How do they know exactly what the address is? I don't give my address to nobody like this. It's not, cause something happened.
The robbery in Georgia?
Yeah.
When India had to shoot?
He went straight to talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
An explosive revelation has shaken the hip-hop community as online investigators and commentary from major figures begin to expose a disturbing plot.
Wack a snitch. Wack is a cop working. If you notice, every time something happens in the street, like with the Quando Rondo situation, how do you know so much about like, I don't even know that much about that. You talk about he done robbed a nigga and did this. Like, how do you know this unless you getting police reports?
In a recently resurfaced interview, new information suggests that members within Lil Durk's own circle may have been involved in a planned attack, one that nearly cost the rapper and his girlfriend their lives. According to claims made during a Twitch live stream by DJ Academics, the 2021 attempted home invasion at Durk's residence in Atlanta may not have been a random act.
Tell me move from that spot, wherever that spot is. You got out of there.
No, I don't live there. Nobody is ever allowed to my house. It be, my best friend never been in my house.
For real?
I promise.
Your best friend?
Promise. Like, it's people like that I just don't allow around my girl and my kids.
The incident, which initially appeared to be a targeted robbery, is now raising red flags as more details continue to emerge. Allegedly, this wasn't the work of outsiders, but insiders. The attack took place in a private, gated community, and authorities arrived en masse. Reports suggested it may have been tied to an ongoing investigation involving shootings and potential gang activity.
With life in the street. Now, when you look at some of these younger artists and you see how they idolize you and idolize your music, and then you see them get caught up.
Yeah.
Do you have conversations with them? Like I remember Casanova, and you was trying to talk to Casanova, Troy Ave, and now Lil Durk. Do you have conversations with them and be like, I've seen this play before?
Even with Durk, I was telling him, like when I had him, he was in New York. Yep. Then, like I was like, yo, this is them, right? It's a real right? He was like, yeah. And I said, yo, just watch him.
Academics shared that residents in the area confirmed the overwhelming law enforcement presence, hinting that federal agents were executing a search warrant related to the incident. As shocking as this development is, what truly makes it alarming is the growing theory that individuals from Lil Durk's OTF, Only the Family crew, may have had knowledge or even involvement in the event.
Did they ever figure out who was behind that? That had to be an insight.
With rumors of betrayal surfacing and surveillance and police documents possibly supporting these theories, fans and insiders alike are now questioning who Durk can really trust. In the weeks leading up to the shocking home invasion at Lil Durk's Atlanta residence, the rapper was already navigating intense personal loss and heightened public attention.
Even with Durk, I was telling him, like I was like, yo, this is them, right? It's a real shit, right? He's like, yeah. And I said, yo, just watch him. His group.
On June 4th, 2021, he released The Voice of the Heroes, a joint project with Lil Baby that marked a high point in his career. However, that moment of triumph was short-lived. Just 3 days after the album's release, tragedy struck. On June 7th, Lil Durk's brother, D Thang, was fatally shot in the head outside a nightclub in South suburban Harvey, Illinois.
Wack a snitch. Wack is a cop working. If you notice, every time something happens in the street, like with the Quando Rondo situation, how do you know so much about like, I don't even know that much about that. You talk about he done robbed a nigga and did this. Like, how do you know this unless you getting police reports?
The incident unfolded early in the morning outside a strip club, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. His loss sent shockwaves through Durk's camp and the broader hip-hop community. Barely a month later, danger came even closer to home. On the night of July 10th, 2021, Lil Durk and his partner, India Royale, were seeking a quiet evening in their gated community in Brazelton, Georgia.
When you said that to Durk, what was his response to you?
He said, you know what? He said, somebody just came in my house. How do they know exactly what the address is? I don't give my address to nobody like this. It's not, cause something happened.
The robbery in Georgia?
Yeah.
When India had to shoot?
He went straight to talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
the Chateau Elan neighborhood is known for its high level of security and exclusivity, offering a space where high-profile residents can maintain their privacy. But at approximately 5 a.m. on July 11th, that calm was shattered. A group of armed individuals forced their way into Durk's home in a calculated and brazen home invasion. Despite the sophisticated security measures in place, the intruders managed to breach the residence, catching the couple off guard. The incident escalated quickly. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, a shootout occurred inside the home as Durk and India Royale returned fire in self-defense. Fortunately, no injuries were reported, but the intruders fled the scene before they could be apprehended. This attempt on Lil Durk's life, so soon after the death of his brother, only deepened suspicions about internal betrayal and raised further concerns regarding the security and loyalty within his own circle. In the immediate aftermath of the attempted home invasion, Lil Durk took to the studio to express the weight of the moment. On the track Pissed Me Off, the rapper directly addressed the break-in and the emotions it stirred. With lyrics like, "Nigga ran inside my crib, but the Glock 10 was by the bed, and I'll give my gun to India before I put it in your hand," Durk gave listeners a glimpse into the betrayal he felt and the trust he placed in India Royale during the incident. The lyrics painted a clear picture. Durk suspected that someone close had helped set the stage for the attack. In a later conversation with DJ Academics, Durk confirmed he had relocated after the break-in. Law enforcement had advised him to move for safety, and Durk followed through. He even revealed that his new location was so secure, not even his best friend knew where he lived. That statement further fueled speculation about distrust within his inner circle. What followed next was a deeper dive by DJ Academics into the potential source of the breach. During a live stream, Academics stated what many fans were already thinking. The home invasion was likely an inside job. He noted that the security level in that neighborhood was extremely high, making it nearly impossible for random outsiders to execute such a move without help. But DJ Academics wasn't the only figure raising concern. Around that same period, 50 Cent, who had recently collaborated with Durk on the track Power Powder Respect, shared some advice. Having navigated the dangerous waters of the music industry and street ties, 50 offered Durk a sobering warning. In an interview on The Breakfast Club, 50 was asked whether he ever gave advice to rising rappers about avoiding the pitfalls of street life. Without naming names, he spoke about younger artists needing to be extremely cautious about those closest to them, especially when money and fame start changing the dynamics within a crew. That moment added weight to an already growing theory. Lil Durk's enemies may have been closer than he thought. As the tension continued to build around Lil Durk's situation, more unsettling details began to surface. Among the revelations was an alarming insight from none other than 50 Cent himself. According to insiders, 50 had pulled Durk aside and warned him directly, "Watch the people around you." At the time, Durk allegedly confessed to 50 Cent that someone from his inner circle had already leaked his address. That leak nearly led to a home invasion, a moment that would later be confirmed in court filings and interviews. The revelation added fuel to the theory that this was no random attack, but the result of an inside betrayal. Though no official statement has confirmed which OTF members may have been involved, the rumors have continued to grow. OTF's reputation in the streets speaks for itself, an organization with multiple ties to shootings, retaliations, and coordinated attacks. The crew has been involved in numerous high-profile incidents, but one of the most shocking would be the extended plot against another rapper, Quando Rondo. That situation traces back to the 2020 death of King Von in Atlanta, a loss that shook Chicago and deeply affected Durk's circle. While Quando Rondo had once been considered an affiliate of OTF, even joking with Lil Durk and Von about street rivals in public, that friendship evaporated the moment Von lost his life. In an interview with DJ Academics, Durk even acknowledged the former connection, admitting that he, Von, and Quando used to mock their shared opposition. But the streets don't forgive, and what followed after Von's death would become one of the most calculated responses in recent hip-hop history. Reports allege that OTF began plotting retaliation against Quando Rondo. The group, according to law enforcement whispers, had been preparing an attack that took nearly 2 years to put in motion. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment reaction. This was structured, deliberate, and methodical. The turning point occurred in August 2020, just a few months before Von's death, when Quando Rondo brought his associate Lil Tim to a nightclub. Tim had just been released from jail after facing charges tied to firearms and narcotics. That night set into motion a chain of events that would change everything, not just for Rondo, but for the future of OTF as well. What unfolded outside the Monaco Hookah Lounge was the spark that ignited a long brewing war. While King Von had just dropped his debut album, Welcome to O'Block, marking a major milestone in his career, tragedy would soon overshadow the celebration. On that night, Von left the Opium nightclub with his crew and pulled up to Monaco Hookah Lounge, unaware of the storm about to erupt. Coincidentally, Quando Rondo and Lil Tim were also at the same lounge. Rondo had opted to stay in his vehicle and rest, skipping the club atmosphere. Lil Tim remained by his side, an unexpected decision that would prove critical. As Von arrived and received word that Rondo was nearby, he jumped out of his SUV with a few members of his entourage and immediately confronted Quando in the parking lot. A fight broke out. Von, along with several affiliates, attacked Rondo in the lot, landing punches and knocking him to the ground. As the confrontation intensified, Lil Tim stepped out of the vehicle, pulled out a firearm, and began shooting. In the chaos, King Von was hit multiple times. 2 off-duty officers who were stationed near the venue responded quickly, opening fire and wounding Lil Tim in the process. Following the shooting, Von's team rushed him to the hospital. Meanwhile, Quando and Tim also fled to the emergency room in a separate vehicle. Both groups arrived at the same facility, but further conflict was avoided. Tragically, King Von did not survive his injuries and was pronounced dead following surgery. The hip-hop community was shaken. Behind the scenes, retaliation was already being planned. Court documents later revealed that in the immediate aftermath of Von's death, Lil Durk allegedly issued coded messages to members of OTF. The goal was clear: retribution. According to reports, DeAndre Wilson, a cousin of Durk and OTF affiliate, encouraged crew members by promising substantial rewards to anyone who would help carry out the murder of Quando Rondo. These included cash incentives and the promise of music opportunities through OTF. It didn't take long before those threats became action. In 2021, Quando Rondo faced his first major attempt on his life. That night began at a Georgia nightclub where Rondo and his crew were in attendance. While the event itself seemed normal, the streets were watching. Not far from the club, a trap was being set. As the night progressed, Quando's crew made their way to a convenience store. That's when gunfire erupted. Dozens of shots were fired, and one of Rondo's close associates was hit. The shooters fled before police arrived, and Rondo narrowly escaped with his life. This attack marked the beginning of a series of targeted incidents. Investigators began to suspect the shooting was tied directly to the bounty allegedly placed by Lil Durk in response to Von's death. What had started as a street-level feud had escalated into a high-profile war with legal consequences and industry-wide ramifications. As soon as word spread that OTF was facing serious legal pressure, one name immediately rose to the forefront of online discussion: OTF Jam. The Chicago rapper became the focal point of accusations after a photo leaked online appearing to show him in an interrogation room, sharing a meal with investigators. The image quickly went viral, prompting widespread speculation that Jam may have cooperated with authorities. DJ Academics was one of the first to post the photo, fueling an online firestorm. In the image, Jam appears calm, which only amplified the backlash. But in response, OTF Jam took to social media to defend himself. He stated his government name, KCJ Hester, and insisted that unless that name appeared on official paperwork, he should not be labeled a snitch. Despite the public defense, what followed was even more damaging. None of the major OTF affiliates stood by him. The silence was loud, especially given that many of those same voices were still publicly advocating for Lil Durk's freedom. With support fading, Jam escalated the issue by directly accusing Lil Durk of being the real snitch. In a bold move, Jam claimed that Durk's lyrics from the song Back Again were what brought him back under federal scrutiny. In the track, Durk says, "Jam get out that jam, I give him 50, ain't gotta ask again. He was catching murders way back then, that's when the max was in." According to Jam, those very lyrics gave federal agents the ammunition they needed to reopen his case. He posted a direct response online, stating, "Calling me a rat or a snitch, but rapping snitch on themselves all the time. Who snitched on who? He snitched on me on a song. Police all up on me after that." Jam's allegations flipped the narrative, casting doubt on who was really responsible for compromising OTF. The division within the crew continued to grow, with no one coming to Jam's defense and more cracks appearing within the camp. The situation painted a larger picture of distrust, infighting, and betrayal. As the federal case against OTF builds, it's becoming clear that loyalty within the camp may be a thing of the past. And with that, what started as a tight-knit crew rising through the ranks of hip-hop now faces one of its biggest challenges yet. Whether it's internal betrayal, public scrutiny, or mounting legal trouble, OTF stands at a crossroads. What do you think will happen next with OTF? Are the walls truly closing in, or is there still a path forward for Lil Durk and his camp? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss another update. Stay locked in. More breaking stories are just around the corner.